Hey guys, in today's video, I wanted to break down a recent interview that Markstrom, DeadlySlob and Kotton did with the creative director and executive producer of The Cycle Frontier, which is a game that I have absolutely loved playing and have covered closely here on this channel. The boys did a great job with the interview, and I wanted to dive into some of the key talking points that help detail the future of the game. So there's a lot to unpack, and let's get right into it. One of the cool things about the cycle when you're down on the planet is seeing drop pods coming in with new players and ships exiting the planet with players extracting. Well, the devs talked about 3 new types of live events while you're on the planet that kind of give you that cool feel of an immersive experience. One of the examples they used was a huge oil rig flying across the sky shooting laser beams and making holes in the ground, kind of expanding on the idea of the persistent world and dropping in not knowing what to expect. These types of activities and emergent events will create a sense of wonder for new players and help keep a variety of fun moments for experienced players as well. Next, there was some good conversation around character progression and the current questing system. So they talked about adding sequential mission lines, and they refer to them as campaigns. So one mission leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And the idea here is to increase the excitement of any loot that you might be looking for, knowing that it's that much more important for you to extract with. This is in combination with the reoccurring and looping missions that we've already seen in the Cycle Frontier, which, quite frankly, after a while, a little repetitive, as I'm sure you can all agree. Campaigns create a good avenue for the developers to help direct new players and introduce certain game mechanics, as well as creating exciting encounters for seasoned players. During Closed Beta 1, the developers had kind of an intake form after you close down the game every time, and there was a lot of good questions that they asked. And one was, what would you most like to see in the game? What additions would you like to see? The number one request was dungeons and bosses. And they did talk about this, and they said that it will be a thing. That's right, dungeons and bosses will be a thing, and they will not be instanced. You will actually have to enter a live server with the other players on it and reach the area in order to start the dungeon or the PvE boss, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like the idea that they're sticking to the persistent server and not instancing any part of the game. Okay, another big hit home messaging for the devs was that the Cycle Frontier will remain a hardcore high stakes experience, even while still being accessible to anyone as a free to play game. Other games that have kind of gone down a similar strategy that are free to play have sometimes catered so much towards the casual gameplay that it loses the excitement for the seasoned players, and they've assured us that it will remain a very hardcore game to play. I think one of the most exciting pieces we heard was an actual timeline for Closed Beta 2. And what they said is the earliest start time would be end of Q1 or start of Q2 2022. So end of March, April, sometime in that frame, we can expect Closed Beta 2, which I'm sure we're all super, super excited for. I know I am. God, I really want to get my hands back on this game. Monetization. So this was a big topic of conversation. I think it's pretty much hardwired in the back of every gamer at this point to get concerned over how monetization is implemented in a free-to-play game. They are using a soft/hard currency, meaning that hard as in you can pay for it with real money, and soft in that you can earn it in-game as well. Monetization features and things that you can unlock will always have a version that can be acquired by using soft currency. Having all of these features as a part of your game that are not solely locked behind the use of a credit card or hard currency is pretty amazing. I think it's really going to be a big deal for free-to-play players and just create a positive vibe overall for their perception of the game for sure. So this is a pretty big deal. Next is a topic of visual representation of players when you're out on Fortuna. And by that, I mean, can you tell what kind of armor and or backpack that someone is wearing before you engage with them to kind of help allow you to make an intelligent decision before firing your pistol at another player that might have level 3 armor. So CB2 will offer a hit detection feedback for players so that you know what type of armor they have. So when you hit marker someone, you'll see some type of color change or whatever to let you know what type of armor that you've just struck. They know obviously that this doesn't give you the information that you're exactly looking for before the fight. They are aware of how big of an issue this is, and they are in talks of a realistic solution or a feature to kind of combat this. They had a bunch of different ideas. One they mentioned was like a holographic collar to help indicate a player's armor, so you can kind of see a color kind of glowing above their head to get a sense of what kind of armor they're wearing prior to engaging in the fight. I don't think they want to give away everything. I know that, when you engage with another team or another player and you don't quite know exactly what you're getting into, it kind of does continue to create that dramatic gamble before and during engaging a fight. So, and that's definitely something that they don't want to get rid of. But they're definitely aware of it, and they're definitely looking for an elegant solution to kind of meet us in the middle a little bit on this one. So content drops was talked about a lot. How are they going to release new content for the game periodically over its lifespan? And how will it appeal to players at different points of their journey in the game, like new players versus late game players? And it was pretty cool what they talked about. So how it works there in the development team is they have a structure of smaller teams that are dedicated to different aspects of each part of the game. Each team represents a subset of the game with an overarching goal of making the whole game amazing. So every season of new content that launches, each team will deliver a change to their subset responsibilities. So for example, in a content drop, the creatures team will deliver some new type of creature. The activities team will deliver something on their end. The mining team will deliver something on their end. So you're getting an aspect of every area of the game, getting features added during content drops so that it will appeal to all different aspects of the game. So another question that was posed was how new players will be able to compete with other experienced players who have put a large amount of time in. And of course, it brought up the subject of skill-based matchmaking. And yes, there is skill-based matchmaking in the cycle, which we did learn previously during Closed Beta 1 during a developer interview. But it exists on a level that is different than how you might expect it. Skill-based matchmaking is based on the median value of loot that you extract with. So if you're extracting with a low amount of loot or dying a lot and extracting with 0, you're going to be placed into servers that have players that are around that median value of extract. So how good you are at prospecting, regardless of your style of play, whether you're a freaking gunning Chad or an Omega Rat super looter, will determine the type of servers you get placed in and will help maintain a variety of player styles on those servers. You don't want servers that it's just all high SBMM PvP type players. This solution allows for all different types of player styles to coexist on servers at the same time, which is pretty awesome. So two kind of touch points that a lot of people have been asking about, and they're usually from Tarkov community. They addressed the idea of a flea market in the Cycle Frontier, and there is no plan to add any kind of player trading like that. And the second is, are they going to do seasonal wipes? So at the start of the season, your character drops back down to level 1, similar to EFT. And the current plan is that, yes, every season your character will start fresh, but obviously all cosmetics will be permanent. So anything you've unlocked via the Fortuna Pass or anything in-game that is cosmetic, you will be keeping. So that wraps up the major discussion points, and I have to say that the development team here with Jaeger and the Cycle team is overall so refreshing. They're open, they're willing to listen to the community as they build out the best possible game that they can. As someone that's been in the industry for a long time, it's rare to see a dev team that truly cares about us players like they do. It just makes me even more excited to dive into the game knowing that it has such a great development team behind it. I'll leave a link in the description below to the full interview, and I hope you enjoyed the recap video. If you're looking to find your way back for more Cycle Frontier content, then drop a sub, and I'll see you in the next one.